Right, so let's look at the solutions to Tuesday's homework, which was about cubic equations. So you had question 12, which had 4 different parts, and you're asked to find the points where each of these functions intersected both the x-axis or the y-axis. So they were given in factorized form, which made it really easy to find the roots. So what we can see there is this is the factorized form of a cubic equation. So straight away, when I'm trying to find where it intersects the x-axis, I'm looking for the x values that will make y equal to 0. So just a reminder that that's what that means. So x plus 1, x plus 2, x minus 3 all equal to 0. And what that means is that each of these brackets in turn could be equal to 0. So when x plus 1 is equal to 0, x is equal to negative 1. When x plus 2 is equal to 0, x is equal to negative 2. And when x minus 3 is equal to 0, x is equal to positive 3. Now let me just double check that I've answered this in the format I'm asked for. It says find where. So this probably would be sufficient, but to be careful, we should write it in coordinate form. So minus 1, 0, minus 2, 0, and 3, 0. Then, where does it intersect the y-axis? Well, it intersects the y-axis when x is equal to 0. And there will only be one value for this. So y is equal to, x is 0, 1 times, so I've filled in 0 for there, and I'm left with 1, fill in 0 there, I'm left with 2, fill in 0 there, and I'm left with minus 3. And what I end up with is 2 times negative 3, which is minus 6. And again, as a coordinate, we'd write that as 0, minus 6. So those are the 4 coordinates that we're interested in there. We weren't asked to sketch it, that will be tomorrow's work. At the moment, we're just finding these out for the different functions. Okay, so hopefully you've got the idea now. Y equals x by x minus 6 by x plus 3. We have 3 points where it intersects or touches the x-axis when x is equal to 0. So let me be neat about this, and I'll say x-axis. My x-axis values when x is equal to 0, which we write as the point 0, 0. When x is equal to 6, which we write as the point 6, 0. And when x is equal to negative 3, which we write as the point minus 3, 0. So the y value for all of these is 0. Now we'll notice, and I've said before,
attention please for the following students, please come to reception immediately. Katerina Nicola Java, Lauren O'Connor, and Faith Kahindi. Thank you.
There's only one point where any of these cubic functions will intersect the y-axis, and we already have it here, because you can see here both x and y are equal to 0. So my y-axis point is 0, 0.
Attention please, correction to last announcement, that's Lauren O'Connor, please to reception.
We can also see that if we filled in x equal to 0, this one is going to make the whole thing go to 0. So we'll have 0 times negative 6 times positive 3, and that, of course, would be 0. Okay, so whatever way you want to do it, the point where it intersects the y-axis is at 0, 0. So that point there where both x and y are equal to 0 at the same time. Now, the third function we're asked about is this one. And when we have a squared factor like this, what that means is that we have a double root. And a double root means it touches the x-axis. So we learned that when we did quadratics, and when the discriminant was equal to 0, we got a single value for solving the quadratic equation, and that's what's happening here. It's a double root, so it means that it touches the x-axis at this point. So they didn't really ask us about that, but it's worth noting it. And what point is that? That's the point x equals negative 2, or in coordinate form, minus 2, 0. And the other one gives us the point x equals 1, or in coordinate form, 1, 0. So that's my x-axis work. And then for the y-axis, again, I'm filling in x equals 0. All I have to do is sub in x equals 0. And so y is equal to 0 minus 1, 0 plus 2 squared. But don't forget to square it because that will make a difference. And you can put that all into your calculator in one go and you get -4, or in coordinate form, the point 0 minus 4. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense there. This idea of something that's in a perfect square, you get it touching the x-axis at that point. You'll see it further in the notes when we're doing sketching these graphs as well. And you can come back at that point and look at these in more detail if you'd like to. You could even try sketching them out yourself for further work. Okay, the last one then, y equals x by x squared minus 9. Now this is not a double root because the square is on the x, it's not on the whole bracket. So again, my x values are coming from the roots. I've got to solve this. So my x-axis, again, means y is equal to 0. So I'm trying to solve x bracket x squared minus 9 equals 0. This is something that we recognize, though. It's the difference of two squares. So we can write that as x plus 3, x minus 3. You would be expected to recognize that. And my three values for x are x equals 0, x equals -3, and x equals +3. And then in coordinate form, we'd write those as 0, 0, so we can see our y-axis as well there. -3, 0, and 3, 0. Sorry there. And finally the y-axis, again when we sub in x equals 0, we get the point 0, 0. We can see that it cropped up here. So once you have 0, 0, you know the y-intercept as well, because that's when both x and y are equal to 0. Okay, so those were the 4 solutions to the homework that you had on Tuesday. Do let me know if you had any questions. Thank you.